This is Zach from MyCodeTeacher.com, and welcome to Tutorial 5 of the iPad application that we're building, which is a sound mixer. This tutorial requires very little coding, but it's one of those times in an application, or moments I guess you can say, that I really enjoy because we actually get to design the application now. We'll work on the graphical user interface, and this is really what makes the app I guess appealing to the end user. And so this is one of the moments that I really enjoy doing on the iPad and the iPhone. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to finish plugging in the rest of the sounds on the left side of the iPad, and we're also going to put in the background, the boxes, and the labels, which we're going to connect in a later tutorial. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Let's open up our project here. And just so we know where we're at, we're going to go ahead and recompile. And here it pops up. So we are going to place a background right over here today. And we're also going to finish putting in the rest of these icons. But first things first, let's start with this background right here. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And there should be a folder included in this tutorial called GUI Images Sound Mixer. And these are all the files that I believe that we need for this tutorial. If there's anything else that we need, I'll pause as we go, include the file, and then the file will of course be included in your zip file at the time that you're watching this tutorial. So let's go ahead and open up our storyboard here. And so it popped up on my second monitor here, and we are going to look at our overview picture. Now, the detail view, which is right here, is basically the view that we see when it's vertical. Actually, I'm sorry, the view that we see when it's horizontal. So just picture this detail view right here, and then the table view on the left side. That's exactly how it's going to look. Now, this tutorial, we're not going to get into coding of changing the images as the iPad rotates. So you're going to notice that it's going to be a little messed up when it's in a vertical position, but we are going to address that in a later tutorial because that alone is a tutorial in itself. We have to do a lot of rotations and animations to make everything smooth, and so again, that'll be for another tutorial. But let's go ahead and start by adding, we'll take out that text label right there, and let's go ahead and just add this main bg.jpg. And so, by habit, thinking Mac would drag and drop, I just tried to drag and drop it in there, and obviously didn't work. So we need to go to View, Utilities, File Inspector, and we need to look for the UI image view, and I believe this is it right here. There we go. So we're going to drag that right over the top here, and we now have an image view. And so let's try and stretch this a bit so that it covers the entire area. And it looks like I overstretched it, so let's let's try this again. Alright. Okay, so we've got our image view right over there in the center, and we are going to look for the attributes inspector, and now we need to add the image to our directory. So if we go under supporting files, we'll add a new group, and we'll just call it GUI images, main GUI images. And so we'll come here and we'll drag our main background, and we might as well make sure this is selected right here, copy items in the destination group, and we might as well make sure that we just put all of these in right now, because it would just make more sense to get it over with now. Okay, dotted line, audio box. Now don't worry about the icons folder, I don't believe we'll need that. And so all the images should be in there. Now it's important to note, once it's in there, all we have to do is on the image text box, which is right here, we just put main bg.jpg, hit enter, and there it is right there. Now up at the top here, I named my title Sound Mixer, so let's go ahead and do that. You just double click to edit the title, and go ahead and save, and let's see where we're at right now. Again, it'll probably look a little messed up from a vertical point, maybe not. And we can rotate, and there it is, exactly as we programmed it to be. So let's go back to the storyboard, and you can see this position is exactly as it is right here in the storyboard. And the reason I say that is because if I were to rotate it, you would see it's not exactly the same setup. Basically, the image expands down a little bit more, and like I said, that's for another tutorial. But let's go ahead now and add our audio box and then our dotted lines. Let's go ahead and close out here, and we're going to bring in another image view, and we're going to call this audiobox.png. Okay, and so after that's inserted there, let's go ahead and instead of scale to fill, we need to make sure that this is actually saying mode center, and so that'll allow us to have the original size so nothing gets distorted or anything like that. So make sure you expand it until you see the rounded edges over here, and we are going to drag it, and you see the center line. That means the image is right there in the center. And so when you see the cross, you know that your image is perfectly in the center. So you can go ahead and let go there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add in more image views, and this one's going to be of our slot holders, which is where our audio is going to the icons are going to snap into when we select them from the left side of the iPad or the table view. So this is going to be called dotted line, and again the mode is going to be center, and let's make this box a lot smaller. Now that looks a lot darker than what I had originally, and that's because I made an alpha of 0.4, which is 40% visible, and it kind of adds a little fade to it, and so that way we can have a nice visible representation of where our icons are going to appear when we select them on the left side. So now we need to duplicate this 5 more times. So here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, and here's the 5th duplication. Okay, so now we have this, and we need to do our best to make sure these are perfectly spaced apart equally. So kind of use your eye there and see exactly what you think. Make this a little bit farther. Okay, a little bit more. And okay. So now, if you hold Control down, I'm sorry, Shift. I was wondering why that wasn't working. If you hold Shift down, you can select all of these boxes and move them over at the same time to make them nice and centered. And so did you see that blue line appear? That means all these are now centered. So now keep these selected and press Command and D, and that duplicates all of them. And we'll drag these right down here. And there you go. So we now have all of our boxes. So now let's go ahead and put our labels in, and those are going to say empty, and they're going to be white. So make sure we double click empty, and we're going to make this size 5, minimum size 5, and the system font size 11. Okay, hit enter. And now let's make the text color white. And we'll drag it right up here in the center. Make sure it's centered there. There we go. Till you see the cross. Duplicate. Okay. Duplicate. Now you can see it showed that it was centered because we had this aligned to the left. It's best if we align it to the center now, and then it should show that it's perfectly centered. Now let's go ahead and wait for the cross. There we go. Align to the center. Duplicate. Okay, align to the center, duplicate, bring to the center, duplicate, bring to the center. Okay, now we'll select all of these and Command D to duplicate. We'll just drag all these right down here, and there we go. So we now have all those icons. So we Command S to save. And as you experiment, feel free to make it exactly how you want. Really, the most important thing is just the coding. So the interface is really up to you. Okay, so let's take another label here, and we're going to put titles here. And so the title I had set to again 11, but black. So we'll set it to 11. And we'll set the minimum size to 5 again. And let's make this bold, if we can. Font. Okay, and so what we need to do now is we need to make sure that this label is centered. And we'll drag it up here. System font size 11. And we'll duplicate. And we'll drag and drop. Wait for the cross, duplicate, drag and drop, wait for the cross, duplicate, drag and drop, wait for the cross, duplicate, drag and drop, wait for the cross, there we go, and duplicate. And now you can either hold Shift or Control and click and Command D, and we'll bring all this down here. Whoop, scroll down, and there we go. So we have our titles, our slots, our picture, and now all we need to do is just add the icons on the left side of the application on the table view. So we can close out of the storyboard for now, and if you want to see what it looks like, you can go ahead and compile. See, I told you it would look a little funky until we start coding it to look better on a vertical and horizontal perspective. But when we rotate it, it looks right on par. So again, we'll address that when the time comes. But now we just need to focus on getting the rest of these sounds in here. And so what we're going to do is I am going to copy and paste. And you can pause and look at it, so that way it saves video file size. And so let's go over here to our to my main master project that I'm referencing, and we're gonna take this whole thing, initialize beach sounds, and Command C. We'll come over here to the master view controller. So here's the beach sounds. It's exactly it's going to be exactly as we were working on. So take off the sections and initialize beach sounds, and there we go. I'm not sure what that is right there. So Command S. And now let's make sure that we have all of our icons added. We need the ocean, the seagulls. Okay, so I just opened up my icons folder, and that is going to be included in the GUI Images Sound Mixer. And so we just need to simply take all of these and since you worked on the application before, we'll take out ocean, we'll take out seagulls, which wasn't in the original. Then we'll take out rain and heavy rain. So look for rain and heavy rain. And the rest can be dragged right in under icons. Copy into destinations group. Okay. Now go ahead and pause. Add this code here. And pause. And you could add the rest at the bottom. And this is the ocean section. Okay, so let's compile and see how the ocean section looks now. Okay, so we now have all of our oceans, all of our beach sounds. Okay, now let's go ahead and add the thunderstorm. So we'll come here to the master view controller, and I'm going to copy and reference the thunderstorm here. Okay, initialize thunderstorm, Command S to save and run, hit stop. Okay, scroll down and we now have our 4 thunderstorm sounds. I really recommend, by the way, I've been copying and pasting to save video space, but I do recommend that you type all of this in, and that's because, one, I did it, and so you should have to. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, as you type it, you'll really understand what's going on between the sounds and the sections classes and how everything's working. So I really think now if you understand that and you want to speed up time for whatever reason, then I would download the file and then copy and paste the sections like I'm doing. So again, I'm coming over here, I'm using my master project file, and in the end there will be a master project file probably in tutorial 10, and you can just copy this link and you can paste it. So now here is the next section, which is the night sensation. And now for this, we're going to have to come back here to the .h, ns mutable array, and call this night sensation, capital S, sensation. Come back here and it should be good. Alright, now we'll compile. And there it is. Okay. Now we've got the rainforest and the mountain stream. So I'm going to copy the mountain stream. Make sure you pause and go right here for the night sensation. Make sure you get all that down. And just to double check, do it for the thunderstorm as well. Pause. Okay. And here is the mountain stream. Again, we have to come back and add this ns mutable array for the mountain stream. And that's in the header file. Compile. There's the mountain stream. Okay. And now we're going to have to do the rainforest. Come into here, ns mutable array, rainforest, compile. And there it is. And last but not least, under the ocean. and it's an NS mutable array under ocean. Save and compile. And there it is. And so you can see that the graphics take a while to perfect, and you know, it was a good 20 minutes or so of just, you know, graphics work, and that's without even thinking about it. That's just with me telling you what to do. A lot of times you have to think about your design, and you have to plan it out and write it out on paper and figure out exactly how things are going to go. And even though we got these images in, we're still not completely done. We still have to work on smooth transitions when we rotate the iPad from the horizontal position to the vertical position. You can see how it's messed up right here. And what happens if we select an icon, it appears here, pops up here, and then rotates? The icon's going to be off-centered again. So we have to realign everything and make it look smooth as if it was designed to rotate that way. And so the next tutorial, we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on getting the icons to animate and pop into their appropriate slot, and we'll go ahead and do that in the next tutorial. So if you weren't able to see all the code, I'm just going to do one more time, pop through it all so you can pause and type it all in. Okay, so here's under the ocean, the rainforest, the mountain stream, the night sensation, and the thunderstorm. And last but not least, bottom half of the ocean, top half of the ocean. Okay, and that should be everything for this tutorial. My name is Zach from MyCodeTeacher.com, and we'll see you in the next one.